Evening all, how you doing? Based on the feedback I got regarding the best way to deliver this, I have opted to do what you've asked, which is a Loom video recording. So I guess that's great because you can watch it kind of back whenever. I imagine you can probably save it as well. So yeah, I'm Andy Hoyland. I've been teaching for 11 years at local secondary schools. I'm teaching AQA right now, but I can teach any GCSE specification. I also do some online tutoring. That's my company brand name there. And I've done exam marking as well. So I've got quite a lot of experience, and I'm happy to share what I can with you guys to help your children do the best they possibly can. So with that in mind, let's get to it. Okay, so the first big tip I would suggest in all exams is that students decode the question. Now, let me show you what that means. It means to break the question down, because as you're about to see in GCSE geography, they like quite wordy questions. For example, here's a question from a few years ago. Study figure 8, two photographs showing different parts of a tropical rainforest. Using figure 8 and your own understanding, explain how development in tropical rainforests creates economic advantages but at a cost to the environment. Whoa, that's a big question, okay? And straight away, some of our students are going to get overwhelmed and think, I don't even know where to start. I'm going to give up, move on to a smaller one, which we just can't do. These are bigger questions. We need to get good marks on these. So by decoding the question, we can break it down and make it more manageable. So I'd be getting them to do things like bugging the question, which means box the command word. Now, for this example, the command word is explain. It's the word that's telling you what to do. And that's different for different command words. Okay, we'll look at that later. So then we'd get them to underline the main point. So that's the U in bug. So we've got box the command word, underline the focus. So I'd be underlining figure 8. I'd be underlining development, tropical rainforest, economic advantages, cost, environment. Okay, and then the G stands for glance, which means glance at the mark scheme. If we know how many marks it's worth, we can start thinking about how to actually tackle the question to make sure we get 6 marks out of 6. Okay, which brings me on nicely to planning your answer. When you know it's worth 6 out of 6, you should know, therefore, that you should be doing 2 paragraphs. So what I would get my students to do is very quickly, just 10 seconds, scribble down on their test paper how they're actually going to tackle this. And if they've bugged it properly, they should go, right, 2 paragraphs, P1, paragraph 1, I'm going to do economic advantages. Things like it brings in lots of money. And paragraph 2, I'm going to talk about the environmental costs, the negatives, things like soil erosion, okay, and global warming and loss of biodiversity, okay. So that's what I would get them to do. And I might even think about, well, how you're going to structure your actual paragraph. So we might use PIL, point, evidence, explain, link, okay, just to help us to structure the actual paragraph as well. It might take 30 seconds or a minute, but I guarantee that by doing that, it's going to speed up the actual answer because they don't even need to think about it now. It's all set out in front of them. And the people who do well spend that extra 30 seconds to a minute planning their answers before they just waffle and see what they can come up with. Point 3, definitely an idea to do the big questions first, okay? So if you've got a mixture of questions, 1 markers, 2 markers, 4 markers, 6 and 9, or bigger questions, 8s and 12s if you're with a different exam board, absolutely do those questions first, because if you run out of time and you haven't done those, that's going to massively hinder the amount of marks that you're able to get, okay? You can always go back and do the 1 markers a bit later on, but get those big questions done first. Point 4, always refer to the figure. I showed you an example a moment ago, which had some photos in. So you should be saying, in figure 4, I can see this. Okay, here's another example for you. Study figure 6, information about the climate and vegetation of tropical rainforests. Suggest how plants are adapted to the climate in tropical rainforests. Use figure 6 and your own understanding. Okay, so this is figure 6. We can see a climate graph, okay, for Peru. So that's going to be a tropical environment. We've got the rainfall bars here. We've got the temperature for line here, okay? And we've got a photo. So if I hadn't looked at this figure, I might talk about things like lianas, buttress root, drip tip leaves, large broad leaves, okay? But actually, I can only see a couple of those things in the figure. So I'm not going to get marks for those things. I'm going to get marks if I talk about these buttress roots here and these lianas here, okay? And what I really want to be doing is showing off. I want to quote just how much rainfall fell in March and what was the actual temperature all year round. On average, it's about 27 degrees, but there's a bit of a dip by 1 or 2 degrees in the sort of summer months. If I get those sorts of quotes into my answer, whether it's from here or this photo, then I'm using the figure properly. I'm going to get into those top marks. If I don't do that, and I just answered a question without referring to this figure, whether it's a photo, a graph, a speech bubble with some text in, I'm probably going to get 1 or 2 marks, okay? Maybe 3 at a push, but I'm certainly not going to get 5 or 6 marks, okay? Learn your case studies. One of the most important things about geography are our case studies, because they're detailed examples, and you can't blag this, guys. Students just need to learn this off by heart. So they need to be learning case studies like the one you can see here. So this is an example of Haiti in the Caribbean, had an earthquake a few years ago that killed 220,000 people. So obviously that's impacting that, they're going to probably try and remember the odd fact here, but they have to learn probably upwards of 20 case studies. So how are they going to do that? Okay, they've got to invest that time. They've got to revise. So they could make flashcards. Question on one side, answer on the other. Keep working through those flashcards. Okay, put them in a pile if you get it right. Put it in a different pile if you get it wrong, and just work on the wrong ones. For example, how many hospitals collapsed during the Haiti earthquake? On the other side, 8. Get it right, move on. Okay. You can make a knowledge organizer where you just write out all the information in sort of sections. You can make an infographic or a poster. You can do dual coding where you draw pictures. Like I might draw, I don't know, it's a bit morbid. I might draw a coffin and next to it write 220,000. Okay. I might draw a boat to remind myself that the port was damaged. And then, of course, you can get practice papers and practice questions as well online, and it's always good to practice those. If in doubt, evaluate. One of the biggest things you can do in an exam to get the good marks is evaluation. Most big questions which use command words like justify, evaluate, to what extent, discuss, assess, okay, examine, all these sorts of words, they basically all mean the same thing. They want you to evaluate. And evaluation just means to weigh up. Okay, to weigh up different points of view. And you can do that using things like time. So is it going to benefit in the short term but not in the long term? Scale, is it going to help people locally, as a country, or across the whole world? So if I'm talking about deforestation, I might say, well, locally it's quite good because it provides jobs, but globally it's really bad because it's increasing global warming. Okay. Categories, well, this is good economically because it brings in lots of money, but it's terrible for the environment. Stakeholder views, who agrees with you? The indigenous people of the Amazon rainforest would agree that deforestation is bad, but the loggers who are getting lots of money from it are going to say that it's a good thing. And then finally, the most significant. What do you think is the biggest thing, the most significant, the best, the worst? Just again, put your opinion into that. And if you can just do 1 or 2 of these things throughout your answer or in your conclusion, you're going to get the big marks. Okay. When it comes to revising for the test, small stages, we call this interleaving. Don't spend 2 hours revising for one subject the night before. Your brain cannot take that. It's called cognitive overload. You're going to just burn out. So 15 minutes, 20 minutes on geography. Go outside, get a bit of fresh air, come back in, 10 minutes on maths. Okay. So this is called interleaving, just breaking it down into small, manageable chunks. Mindfulness. Okay, this is what my company is really pushing, guys, in its holistic tutoring. Okay, and this is not just about tutoring, this is about actually making a well-rounded student, because what's the point in learning all this stuff, all this content, if when it comes to it we burn out in the exam and we get stressed and we get anxious and we can't actually function and focus. So things like controlled breathing, there's breathing apps like State, which I used before bed or in the morning just to kind of get myself in the right place. There's loads of things on YouTube you can watch. Fresh air, nature walks, it's proven that if you go for walks in nature at the weekends or any time, it actually increases your brain activity. That's a fact. Okay, and fresh air helps to calm you as well. Regular exercise, okay, good eating. Teenagers should be getting 9 hours and 25 minutes sleep a night. How many of our teenagers actually do that? Not many, I imagine, but that's what they should be getting. They should be turning their screens off an hour before bed, because then they're going to be able to switch off properly and not be glued to their phones with that white light that's coming through. They should be able to switch off and get into a deep, meaningful sleep. And they might use calming music to get themselves in the right place as well. Okay, and final tip for you guys, ask for help. Okay, it's hard. There's loads of people that have been there and done all of this. Go on revision websites like Bite Size, watch YouTube videos if it's explaining how a landform's created. Lots of great videos on there. Ask your teachers at school. And if you still want some extra support, find a tutor. Okay, I am a tutor. I'm tutoring geography for now for GCSE. I've got a group of 5 students who are absolutely smashing it. They've been with me for, this is our second week together, and they're making rapid progress already. If you want to get involved in that, I'm still taking places for that. The exams are coming up. So book in a call with me. Let me know if you want to get involved, and I'll help you with that. I hope this has been useful. Enjoy your evening. Give me a thumbs up so I can show that you've downloaded, watched it, and shared this with your students. Take care, guys, and I will see you soon.